All right, so today I'm going to be taking a look at this digital microscope that I believe Dinolite sent me. Hopefully I'm getting the name of the company right. So it came from Dunwell Tech Inc. in Torrance, California. Let's just make some room on the desk, move this thing aside, and make some room on the desk to open this thing, and hopefully not destroy my desk setup. Or get flux on my phone, which is dangerously close to happening. So, now, I never have a proper box cutter sitting in front of me, so I'm going to use the spudger. And we're going to open this thing up and see what we have. But, by the way, just so that there's no... just in the interest of full disclosure, I was sent this for free. They contacted me and asked if I'd want to look at it, maybe include it in a video. The one benefit I will give this company is, I guess one nice thing I can say, is they never asked for a review. They never asked me to say specific things about it, which I'm happy about because, yeah, that's the wrong way to contact people like us. Anyway, so here we have Dinolite digital microscope, redefine the microscope. It goes over the product features, the resolution, a bunch of stuff that's kind of boring, so I'm not going to read it to you because I don't want to put you to sleep. We have a quick start guide. We have, I guess, a product catalog. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So, I imagine this is a clip or something that you use to put it to the desk. Comes in some nice bubble wrap here. Alright, let's just unwrap this. And let's see if I can figure out how to put this thing together. If there's anything that I'm bad at, it's putting things together. This, I don't know what's in here. You have a clip. And we have this, which I would guess is the actual microscope itself. Box can go here. Alright, now for the quick start guide. Quick start guide. All right, so we have a clamp base, an arm, and a holder. So step one here is take the base. I guess here's that. Is this thing? No, this is the holder. Crap. All right, this is the base, I'm guessing. All right, let's see. Here we go. So this is the base. So this is going to go, I guess, here on my crappy IKEA desk. Okay. You can't see that, can you? All right, so we got this. Now, we're going to take this. This is the arm. Okay, I guess we loosen this thing. You know, it would be great if I actually read the instructions. Why can't... I hate reading instructions. They always... It's boring as fuck. And they always leave stuff out. Okay, so this... Where do you come from? This thing just kind of fell apart here. Did I already do something stupid? Yeah, it seems I did. All right, this. Okay, there we go. I did do something stupid, so I popped this lever piece out. All right, let's try to get this thing back in. Screw this in. Here we go. Yeah. All right, let's try this again. I'm just reading the manual to see if any of the information in here would have kept me from breaking this off. What the fuck? Okay, let's try to reattach this thing. Okay, back to square one. So put this thing on here. You fucking piece. Good enough. Great, the customer's in the front of the store. They're looking at me like, what the fuck is this idiot doing? Trust me, I have no more idea more than you. All right. Okay, that's good. I trust this now. All right, so next up is this thing. All right, so attach the HDP1 holder to the arm. Okay, this is the arm. I have this and this. Okay, I see what's going on here. So you're going to screw this in, and then you do this. Okay, and then I'm guessing that this is going to be the microscope element. So this thing here, Dinolite microscope. Okay, so this is going to be the microscope. Now, one thing to understand is that this is a VGA microscope. So it looks like they sent me this with a VGA to HDMI adapter, which is cool. Let's take this out of the box. It's okay. How about we read the rest of the instructions before doing anything else here? Okay, that is the end of the instructions. All right, so screw that. Okay, so we're at the end of the instructions. So from here on in, we're on our own. We have to think. Okay, so this, I believe, is going to be power for it. Okay, so I'm going to plug this in under my desk, and with any luck, do that without destroying anything. Okay. So this will go here. Now we can plug this thing in. I just got to find a plug under my desk for this. This is a great way of saying, hey, I know you probably have a 6-tap power supply, but we want to take up the entire space. Like, really? That takes up the okay, I'm going to have to find some space for this. So we have this, we have this, we have this. Front cover box. This accessory is not covered under warranty. Oh, that's fine. I didn't pay for it. We have a bag that you can put it in when you're done. Dinolite digital microscopes. Okay. And so I'm guessing that this is going to be this USB thing. This powers this VGA to HDMI thing. So let's move this over. Okay, you're going to go in here, I imagine. So this has 2 power supplies. So we have this thing, which is going to power the actual microscope. I'll plug that in underneath my desk. And then we have this USB thing, which is going to power this VGA to HDMI conversion that's going on. Okay, where can I route this very, very short wire? You go here. And I can plug this into my HDMI. Nice try, box. Plug this into my HDMI splitter thing. All right. So finally went through all the crap I need to do to plug that in. I had to rearrange some stuff under my desk because the power supply to this thing it takes up literally 3 outlets. It's that long on any one of those 6-tap power strips that you can get. Which that I don't think I have a single component here, including the other microscope camera, that takes up that much. So let's see if I can get this thing to show up on the screen so you all can see what it looks like. And we'll do a little bit of a side-by-side between my current microscope camera and that. That is why I got this little remote here, so I can switch between them. So first things first, are we actually displaying anything on the screen? Okay, so this is the old microscope. So if I want to switch over so that output 2 shows you this, okay, so you have different settings on this thing, so let's just go over some of the settings. So over here you have a setting called polarizer, which is going to let different amounts of light in. And up here you have a zoom for the camera. Now the first thing that you may notice here before we even move over is, I don't know if it's an exposure thing or a 60 frame per second thing, but this, and you can see in the corner of the camera that Jason just went to the bathroom. Great filmography. I'm gonna move it up, and let's just try moving something back and forth. Maybe it was just me, but it just didn't seem as fluid as this thing. Yeah, like if I were to switch over to this, and we'll view an actual motherboard in a second. We'll see what it looks like. So let's move this over a little, shall we, so that I can easily compare and contrast these two. Let's loosen this up and slide it over. So ideally, I want to set this up so that I can easily move a board between the old microscope and the new one, so that you guys can see what it looks like, and that I'm getting owned by that really short cable, but what are you going to do? All right. So this is what a motherboard looks like under the microscope setup that I usually use. Ignore the brand over here. You can buy an amp scope and it's literally going to be pretty much the same thing. So this is my current microscope and microscope camera. Just go over the board, and as you can see, as I move back and forth, once I get the exposure and the white balance proper, it's pretty fluid. See? Move, move, move. It's a nice 60 frame per second. It's fluid movements. And you can see, like if I move the tweezer in a circle, it looks really lifelike. Now we're going to switch over to this thing. So just hit the button in remote control. Now we're going to have the element at about the same height. And here we go. And so check it out. See? This is the microscope. It doesn't see anything. And just to make sure it's not my capture card, I can switch back to this microscope. And see, the board is moving around. It's moving around nice and pretty. So let's just reboot this thing. Let's give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it just needs a little bit of a reboot. Okay, turn it off, turn it on. Okay, first question here. First question. Why is there a bar on the left side of the screen? What the? Why is there a bar there? Is my first question. So I'm just putting this into my standard HDMI capture setup that I use for the other microscope. And the second is, let's get it in focus. That would. Here we go. It's in. Getting this thing in focus is pretty You see, like, okay. First things first is it seems to be like a millisecond or so of input lag before me changing this and it showing up on the screen. So focusing is something that's a bit of a pain in the ass on this immediately, just right out the gate. Oh, so how do you know what the orientation of this damn thing is? Let's see. Do this. So see this arm over here. This is where the focus shows up. So I have to orient this so that when I move it moves up on the screen. All right, here we go. We're getting somewhere. So you have to orient it like this. Ignore the stretched wire. That's because this thing comes with a really short cord. A really short cord, there's, I guess, nothing I can do about that. So, all right, so we're going to put this here. Froze again. All right, let's unplug it, plug it back in. All right, so now this is the proper orientation, right? So moving up, it moves up, and move down, it moves down. Let's get this into focus over here. Make it take up some more. All right. And we can adjust polarity over here. So how much light is let in. Okay, the first thing is, you see how when I move, it kind of becomes blurry? See that? Like if I'm moving like this, let's say I want to go from left to right, it's almost as if it's not progressive. I know this thing advertises itself as 720p and 60 frames a second, but you see what I'm talking about when I move from left to right like that? Like technically this is a microscope. It is it is magnifying what I'm looking at, but when you move around, like for example, let's say I'm looking for liquid damage. You know how a lot of these I'll go, okay, let's look for liquid damage, and I'll do this, and I'll move it around the desk, and I'll try to scan. That whole scanning thing is going to be, that scanning thing is just going to go very, very differently if scanning happens at that, this, again, and also the freezing. This would be a great opportunity to switch back to the other microscope so you can see what my standard microscope camera looks like. So see when I'm moving from left to right over here? I'm not going to say it's perfectly fluid, but you don't get that dizziness. It doesn't feel like there's a delay. See, the movement is so much more fluid. This feels more progressive, more 60 frames per second to me. See? Very nice. Again, and then I go back to this microscope. Let's hit 2. Oh, I forgot, it froze, because that's what this thing seems to do every 20 seconds. We're going to plug it back in. And again, it works. Again, as long as you unplug it every now and then. And plug it back in. So, it works, but I mean, like, look at the color reproduction on this. Look at the... I don't really know what to say. Like, it's taking in too much light, so everything is reflective, right? So I lower the polarizer, and it looks a little bit better. Okay, it does look a little bit better, but still, well, look at the... And look at how grainy and noisy this image is. Like, look at the... You can see stuff moving around in the screen. You see that? That's not YouTube... Okay, maybe some of that is YouTube compression right there, but you could see noise and stuff just moving around on the screen as if you're trying to film with a really high ISO in a really dark environment. Now we go back to the camera that I'm using right here. In this other microscope. Oh, hit the wrong button on the damn HDMI piece. All right, we do this, switch back. Now look. See that? Nothing's moving around. You don't see any grain. It's just really, really efficient capture. And we'll go back to this, and let's see if it's frozen again by the time we switch. So hit 2. Hey, it didn't freeze. That's awesome. Okay, now let me see if I can actually do some soldering with this. Now, the other thing that's going to be a question that comes up when it comes to these stations. Jason, did you steal my iron? No, I'll use a different one. Now, this is a donor board, so I can play around a little bit. Doesn't matter if I break anything. Let's see what it's like to solder on this. So I'm going to just solder using what I see on the monitor in front of me. This is something I haven't tried in a really long time, and it's something I've always been a little cynical of. And the reason that I'm cynical is, let me just move this out of the way a little, is a lack of depth perception. So the issue that I find is that I can't perfectly see. I guess when you, here's the thing. How do I put this? When try to look at a screen, you see the screen. Even if you're just focusing on the screen, you see the screen, but I can see the shelf up there. I can see the microscope here. I can see the soldering station here. I see the multimeter in my peripheral vision. Even when I'm staring at the screen and I'm very close to it, I can still see the garbage pail under the desk in my peripheral vision. So you still have all these distractions in your peripheral vision. Whereas when you're looking into a microscope, you don't really have much peripheral vision of anything. If you're looking into it properly, what you see in there is pretty much what you see. You're much more limited in your peripheral vision through this. And that's a good thing because all you're seeing is the image. So that's something that's made it very, very difficult for me to do any type of work with a digital microscope. So let's try to remove something and put it back on, and let's see how that goes with looking at a screen. So I'm going to stare at my monitor. I have to retape this thing. It falls off constantly. All right, so let's try removing something. Let's move this so I can use the air filter a little better. All right, so let's say we want to remove this and then solder on another one. Wait, wrong place. Wrong chip, dumbass. It's just weird. My hands don't really have much of an idea of where to go as they do with the usual microscope. Ah. I think those two pads may be actually tied together on the board. So yeah. Okay, one way to find it. Let's see. Did Hacko send the replacement iron yet? Huh? So what if they send a replacement iron, why'd you have to steal mine? Huh? Oh. So that's why I'm wicking with a micro pencil. Okay, so those two are tied together. So let's see if that would have been more obvious if I lowered the light. So that's the thing. Here's what I want to point out. Even when I lower the light, even when I lower the intake, this pad still shines a lot. So I have to lower this a lot, almost all the way to the point where you can't see anything around it for this to show up as one pad rather than a big reflection. Now, if I switch over to my traditional microscope, ahem, come on, this thing is so damn slow. All right, let's switch over to the traditional one, which takes up the entire screen. Now I can do this. I can adjust light output on this one. See, and now it just kind of and I can adjust zoom as well. And I can also tell that you see, the lack of reflections make it a lot easier. But if I go back to this thing, come on, HDMI switcher, you can do it. Let's see, can you zoom by moving it closer to the board? This is how you get zoom. Ugh. Let's get the chip. Now I forget the orientation of the chip, but luckily I don't have to care because this board is dead anyway. Luxury, luxury, luxury. So I'm going to take this thing, put it back here. I can't see shit. All right, let's change the light input. Okay, it flowed into place, push down. I always put too much solder on the center pad. That is my hallmark, as you know. And let's try a different type of chip. This board looks like it's had that somebody's had its way with it. Let's take off the ISL 6259. You can really see when the flux is flowing away, just the delay in the movements, I guess. It's almost like this thing is using the lowest shutter speed imaginable with the highest ISO and still manages to be noisy. We'll do an ISL 6259 here, so I gotta say, looking at a monitor while you're doing this is very weird. And again, there's very little definition in those pads. Much, even if I lower, they're just blobs of light. Again, are those pads grainy? Are they flat? Are they rounded? I have no idea. So. It's really hard for me to see anything. And also, notice how it looks like a shadow. See, I like to be able to see the side of the pad of the chip, and then the pin on the chip, and then the pad on the board. But I can't really see the pin. It just looks like a big shadow. Let's see, if I try to look at this from the side, to do a little bit of inspection. Even on the right chip. Yeah, this is what I'm looking Okay, let's switch back to my regular one. Obviously, there's a big solder blob there. I mean, is there any... this is not even remotely in the same league. So let's do that same job. Let me just finish this up with this microscope, and then we'll... Now let me just move the air filter back over to where this microscope is sitting. Take this thing off. Now, as you can see, I got a little bit too much light, but this thing auto... Bam. There we go. Just tin the pads. This board looks awful. Okay, put the hot air station back on. It's so nice when I don't have to remember the way the chip goes. It's such a nice little luxury. Blew away. This is so great, I don't have to care which way it goes. Is that the same way it was on before? Oh. Now, let's get into the discussion of value, because that's the part where I'm pretty sure the company that sent me this is going to wish that they never sent me this. Let's just talk about value for a minute. So let's go over the value conversation with this. So this is the AM. Okay, let me just type this into Google over here, and I'm going to look it up along with you. Just move this thing out of the way. Okay, so hopefully you can see what I see now. So AM5216ZTL R4. When we look this up, you can see, I guess you can see their website. So let's look them up on their website. It's also on microscope.com. 5216. Okay, so this thing starts at $669 over here. Let's see, on their website. Also, let's see, heavy analog microscopes. So ours was a VGA microscope, I believe. Okay, so this is $700. So the microscope that I just showed you is $700, right? Now, here's one thing I want you to keep in mind when comparing different microscopes. The microscope that I just used and the microscope that I'm going to show you a clone of this microscope that you should get online, here's what I want you to understand. The picture that you see in the camera is never as good as what you see through the oculars. The camera is seeing something and then making it into an image and then getting compressed by YouTube and whatnot and so forth. What you see directly from the lenses to your eyes, that will always look better, sharper, crisper, more clear, and more detailed than what you see in the camera. I just want you to understand that. So what you saw in the camera, again, the image that you saw in the camera here with this microscope, that kicked the shit out of this one. Wait till you see the price on that. So here's the microscope that I'm telling you to get over here, right? This is the one that I'm telling you to get. It's $458. So you could have a microscope where you have full depth perception, where it's a real microscope, an actual physical one, where it feels better, it's easier on your eyes, and the image quality is out of this world for $458 and free shipping. Or if you want to spend $700, you could get a digital microscope that you have to plug into a monitor. Be limited to looking at a monitor while you solder, which in my experience is miserable and sucks. And get the image quality of a MacBook webcam. This don't make any damn sense. Here's the thing. The reason I did this, and the reason I even agreed to this at all, is very simple. There are a lot of people that will ask me, Louis, okay, I see that you have this $450 or $400 microscope. I can't afford that. Can you recommend me a digital microscope that I can get that's more within my price range? Now, when people are saying that, Louis, I can't afford what you have, can you recommend me a digital microscope? They're not saying, Louis, I want to get a microscope with worse image quality than yours that costs twice as much. They're saying that because they want to save money. So the point behind a digital microscope to most people is, I can spend $120 and buy this digital microscope rather than buy the $450 real microscope. By making the quality of the digital microscope worse than this, and then making it cheaper, you've then filled the product niche. So let's say this is 400 something bucks. You make the digital microscope $100. The digital microscope may suck, but it's $100. You filled the niche. When you say that this digital microscope is going to be $700 and look like that compared to this one, what market niche does that fill? A digital microscope is going to be more difficult to use than a standard microscope. And the quality of this, again, like, if you want to use something that's digital, I don't want to look at a screen. I don't want to look at a screen while I solder. But if you get something like this over here, which, by the way, this camera is about $700, which shows you the quality of this versus that. But this camera is like $700. Get something like this and look at this screen. So let's just look up the camera that I'm using over here. So you can buy this microscope. You can buy the one that I have on the screen over here. You're going to have to get an adapter for the camera. And people always ask me what adapter is the right one to get. You should ask Amscope. To be honest with you, I don't even know what the adapter is to get because they change constantly. So the adapters between the Amscope and the Omanos change all the time. So I'm using this camera. So the camera that I'm using is a camera that you can buy for, well, okay, so this is a different version of it. This is 1080pu. I don't know how that's different than NH1080. But it's made by pretty much the same company. 1080p, HDMI output. You can get a camera like that, attach it to this microscope, and you could have something that looks absolutely amazing. Or you can buy this thing, and again, to me, this is a MacBook webcam that you put on a stick and then are reselling for $700. I wanted to like this thing. I really thought that when people asked me for an alternative, that I'd be able to say yes, this is a good thing, but I'd honestly rather just do my soldering just looking at the board. Like, I mean, I would be better off working like this than I would with the combination of the low quality of the image and also being stuck staring at the monitor. I know I'm repeating myself, but I don't understand what niche this seeks to fill. It's lower quality than the real thing. It costs more money than the real thing. If you absolutely want to get a camera on the real thing, you can. And you don't need to buy this high-end one. So this camera is $600. Again, this camera is less money than this microscope, but this camera is $600. And it looks great. But you can also buy HDMI cameras that look a little worse for $300 or $400. Worse than this, still much better than this. So, Oh, and not to mention the freezing thing. I'm not sure why it froze a couple of times. Again, as you saw, when I switched back to my microscope, it was fine, so it wasn't the capture hardware doing it. Yeah. And there's also the line on the side of the screen. I'm not sure why there's a line on the side of the screen there. Maybe it's, you know, it's confused that I'm plugging it into 1080p input when it's a 720p output. And that's the other thing. Why is the 720p? I mean, this is $700. This is a $700 product. It's 2016. I mean, I have an Android phone that has better resolution than that, and that Android phone was what, like $150? Like the camera on my $150 Android phone has better resolution than this camera. That's $700. I mean, there's so many ways to berate this product for what it is, and I guess the best place to start, and again, I really am repeating myself now, is why is the digital microscope with low image quality $700 when the good microscope with good image quality is $450? I really wanted to go into this liking this. I wanted to go into this saying, yes, buy this. This is a good product. If you don't like my microscope that's $450, okay, the image on this maybe doesn't look as good, but you can buy one for $100. But this is $700, and the quality goes down. Believe it or not, if you buy the cheaper ones on their site, the quality actually can go down from where we are right now. So if we look at their website here, I have the high-end one. Look, you see this on this list? I have the $700 720p one. If you want to spend $519, which is still more money than this, still more money than the good microscope, 800 by 600. Oh, wow. I'm very... Am I missing something here? Let's try this thing one more time. Maybe like I plugged it in wrong or something here. I don't... Maybe there's a button that maybe there's a button I can hit that'll make it look less like shit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure nobody's ever gonna send me a product through YouTube again. Let's see. Let's read the manual here. Maybe there's a button that makes it not work like shit. So we have product information, 6-foot USB cable, micro touch capacitive sensor, top of the line CMOS sensor, top of the line captures crisp images and video, precision crafted. Magnification indicator displays current zoom level. All right, so I didn't look at that. Maybe I'm at a too high or low a zoom level. Is that what it is? No, that's this thing. That's this thing, and I was showing you how that works. I thought that was focus. I didn't even know that was zoom. Okay, let's check that out. I thought that was focus. Well, let's see how that works. Okay, let's change you over to number 2, and let's get this thing. Switch on. You can do it. You can do it. Okay, so... Okay, so this over here is going to be 20x, 10x zoom, right? That's actually, no, that's 15x. That's 15x on the zoom. Now, if I want to go from 15x to 20x, it takes me completely out of focus. And then I have to move the microscope closer in. Now, if I want to go up to 40x or 50x, that takes me even more out of focus, and I have to move it closer in. Now, here's the problem with this, right? So with this microscope, we have the exact same idea. So with the traditional microscope, same idea, right? So if I want to change, I'm at 7x zoom, and if I want to zoom in, I have to change where the microscope is. So I have to move the microscope down towards the device as I'm increasing the zoom. The thing is, it's not that sensitive. So for example, right now I'm at 7x zoom, and I am in focus. Now, if I want to go from 7x zoom right here to 15x, it goes a little out of focus, but all I have to do is make a minor adjustment, and I'm good. If I want to go down to 20x, it goes a little bit more out of focus, but a little minor adjustment, and I'm good. And that minor adjustment is easy to make because it's just straight up and down. Now, this does not go straight up and down, as you watch. So if I want to make this go up or down, I have to do this. But it doesn't go straight up. See, it goes in an arc because it's on an arm. See? So the usability of this, if I want to change zoom, is almost non-existent. So let's just change back to this thing. Maybe there's a... Yeah, so let's say I'm at this section. Let's just put the zoom back to 10. Oh, it froze again. Oh, never mind. Here we go. It's back. Okay, so let's go over here and try to focus. That's my finger. Lower the polarizer. And move you up. So I'm going to try to focus on this area. You froze again. All right. Turn you off. Turn you on. Okay, so we're going to move this into where it's in focus. It froze again. All right, so we're going to turn it off, turn it back on. I have no idea you're supposed to get work done with this. This thing is frozen over 6 times over the course of this demonstration. All right, so this is in focus at 10x. Now, if I want to bring it to, let's say, 20x, okay, I'm there. Now I have to move it down. But as you're moving it down, it's also going to move from side to side because it doesn't have any way for you to directly move it up and down, right? Because it's on this little arm. So now we're at 20x. Now if I want to go to 40x, now I have to move it again. But since I'm very highly zoomed in, it's easy to lose track of where you are. So I have to hold it really carefully and make sure I'm pushing directly down in order to change zoom. If I own this, I would personally never change the zoom on it, because every time I'm changing the zoom, I'm potentially losing my place. At higher zooms, it's almost actually kind of workable. Yeah, that's not as terrible. Yeah, no, don't give it credit. Stop defending. So this is at 40x. If I go to 30, lift it up. And again, let's just switch back to the other one. So I want to make sure I'm not missing something here. We're going to go... Okay, this is my regular microscope, and this is at 7x. I'm going to zoom in. I think yeah. Go back to this one. Oh, look at that movement there. You could get sick doing this. I mean, like, when you're moving from side to side, how are you ever going to see liquid damage when it does this? Look at this. Everything is a blur. It's a complete blur. You can say that's 60 frames per second. That's 60 frames per second, my ass. So now we switch back to this one. Look, you're looking for liquid damage. You're moving from side to side. The image, you get a little bit of blur. Let's just put it in focus so it's fair here. But you can see as you move. Okay, let's continue through the monitor, in the manual. There has to be something in this manual that makes sense. So we got, let's see. There's a suck button that I'm missing. So we have operation. Okay, so it seems like there are different stands that you can get for this thing where it will move up and down linearly. When I say linearly, I mean like, again, it's not going to move in in an arc like this thing is. So you can get a stand that goes up and down for it. Wi-Fi adapter, there's special lighting, adjustable polarizer is useful. Here we talk about the applications. They show you the accessory list. They're talking about the software, and they're showing you demo images. Okay, so I'm convinced at this point that this is not user error. And if it is, well, again, shame on you for making this so hard to use anyway. This is... Did I already say 5 or 10 times that I really, really, really wanted to be able to recommend this to people who said, Lewis, I'm looking for a cheap digital microscope? Yeah, you gotta get off my desk. All right. This is going back in a box. I can't believe that somebody thought that they could charge $700 for this. Like, Jason, you want to see what this thing looks like? Look at this. Take a look at this thing. Looks like a dildo, that's what it does look like a dildo, doesn't it? So bring a board over here. You have to see this. Tell me what you think. Tell me your unbiased opinion, because I don't want to be unbiased. All right, so we're gonna switch. Okay, so this is this microscope. This is the one that I usually use, that you use on the other table. Let's change the expo. All right, now we're gonna switch over to this thing. That HDMI switcher from China takes forever. It really takes its sweet time. Okay, so let's...
Oh, wow. That
Wait.
doesn't even have enough light.
Look at when you move.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I can't...
Yeah.
This is...
You can see the tearing.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Is it just me? Am I being unfair to this thing?
I mean, if it had more light, it'd be a lot better.
Wait, look, you can get more light. You do this.
No, now it's just overexposed.
You can do this. You can... Yeah? You have two knobs. You screw with it. Tell me if you can make this thing work.
Yeah. Why is it tearing so badly though? That's what I don't get.
Yeah, this is probably stuck in the... See, this is... It froze.
Wow. Well...
I'm never going to get sent a product by a company again. We're not getting it.
I mean, the good thing is it's like sharp at least, like relatively sharp. Like, I can at least read that text there, but like, damn. That's not fun.
Yeah. It's... And the freezing every couple of seconds is great. But then you go back to this and it's like...
This is what I'm gonna have, right?
Look, this is like... Yeah, this is going to be yours for when the students are working. Yeah. Look, it's like... This is like color... This is a color TV from 1950 versus a plasma from 2006. Hey, look, your C5202RF is broken.
Do an iPhone data recovery, Lewis?
Yeah, we might as well do an iPhone data recovery. So what, I have to knock this off and it'll work, right?
Yeah, it's yeah.
Every phone. No, you have to do it, but you're going to do it with this.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, this is going to be on your desk. This is your new microscope. Enjoy. I need this for the students.
I'm going to go work for Sonny.
This is probably what Sonny has on his desk. Well, what should I do with this?
Do what Justin does. Get it like, just put it up front. And just like have people who want to like, look at their shit.
Yeah, they won't be able to see if it works or not. Yeah, I could put this up front. That's a great idea. It's only 720p, so it'll work with that shitty 1366 by 768 monitor I have.